Hello and welcome back to the OGA Rainbow Six Pit European Closed Qualifiers. I'm Stand Up, and joining me once again is the lovely Captain Fluke.
Pleasure to be here. A pleasure to be not leaving yet. I've been in the studio every day. Haven't actually gone home. There's been a lot of OGA Pit qualifiers, but we're still here and we're still going. And, well, we've still got another game. We've got loads of games, actually. But the first one we're going to see is Chaos versus Vegasy, a French team that made their way through the open qualifiers to be here against Chaos. That's a team that were 6th in Pro League, 4-1-9 split, but historically have a pretty good showing in qualifiers.
Vegasy had really good seeding through the open qualifier, and then they immediately get first round put against Chaos. So, bit of luck and bit of unluck there. But we'll go into the map bands and see exactly where we'll be going in this best of 3 series. Winner will progress through the bracket, and winner and loser will be eliminated. It is a single elimination best of 3, and we'll already see Bank banned out by Vegasy and Border banned out by Chaos. Now, the main map I think we're looking for here is Coastline.
Coastline can be a very good one for them. Obviously, they took Empire there not too long ago, and they took them in style, 7-3, which is a very good result against a team that is consistently very good. Bank, I think, is more of a comfort ban to remove from Vegasy. They're probably going to opt towards, at this point, I would say something like Club, just to give themselves some of the kind of groundwork of what is already there, and they can kind of play into the playstyle. But they also might have done their own homework on what Chaos, well, isn't so preferable. And Coastline is actually where we're going to head to instead. And now that leaves Chaos open to, well, go wherever they want.
It's wild that Vegasy would choose to go to Coastline rather than let Chaos pick it. But, yep, Villa will be the pick from Chaos' side, so we'll eliminate the rest of the maps before we are left with our decider. And our decider will be between Clubhouse Consulate and Cafe Dostoevsky. It won't be Cafe, as that will be banned out by Chaos. So just Clubhouse and Consulate. So things are not looking too good right now, I would say. I've just straight up in the map bands to see Coastline go first.
Well, they do end up going to Club on their swing, but yeah, Coastline you expect to swing into the favour of Chaos. Villa is their map, so you're assuming they're confident and comfortable there. I guess we're just going to have to see if Vegasy can pull off what we've seen a lot of other teams do so far, which has been some pretty surprising round takes against some of these behemoth teams that you go in and you expect them to sweep and you expect them to pull big numbers, and it's happened once or twice throughout these qualifiers, but in other times, well, it's gone down to the wire, as we've just kind of seen from the previous matchup.
Well, it looks like we're just about ready to get into the game now. It's going to be our first map here of Coastline of Chaos versus Vegasy. I'm going to get in here and see exactly what's going on here. Habana with the first ban done by Chaos, and leave Vegasy with their ban. We're immediately going to choose something here. It is indeed going to be a Capitao.
Capitao removed on Coastline, yeah, it can kind of funnel. It's so good at getting people out of little close holds, especially if you look towards hookah. You look at the way the windows can kind of work and play against, kitchen holds as well. And there's standard angles that a defender is generally going to be set up and operating in. So being able to force them into uncomfortable positions is pretty profitable. Echo is a standard removal, and Chaos again hitting back with their own response. Probably Mirror. Valkyrie actually leaving. That's also a fair ban. 4 flat walls, a bit of danger in the danger donut. It's a good recipe for a Valkyrie.
It also does give Chaos a little bit of a leeway now, because they do have Mirror going into defense Coastline, and that does open up a lot of sites. I mean, Blue Bar becomes a huge amount more viable, as does Penthouse and Theatre. So Mirror really does change this map, and I guess it's appropriate because this is the map that Mirror was introduced on.
Well, we can see them start to set themselves up here, obviously. Chaos are leading on their defense. They're in a slightly bit of a better position now to be able to get some control into this game, and I guess we'll see what Vegasy can kind of respond with, because it's normally a bit of a mixed bag on their part. It's not in terms of the team, but in terms of how Pro League teams have been met by the secondary teams. Statistically, some of them have been in very good positions, in very good places, and able to find bodies. And maybe it's a mix of prep work, maybe it's a mix of not being able to be prepped against and just being able to bring some creativity. What has sometimes been, I guess, teams at the end of a long Pro League season getting a bit of R&R and struggling in the off, but it is up to them now to try and make this Coastline theirs.
So we'll see how this is going to be working out for Vegasy and what they want to do on the attack as we move into round number 1 and see exactly what wants to happen here for Chaos as well.
Attackers' objective is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
What do you think of the lineup here from Chaos?
I mean, it's a couple of ACOGs, a couple of big angles. I'm curious. I guess they're going to try for more of a flat control, firefights, rather than things like C4s and traps and that kind of bait. But they've got a lot of early warning information there. Obviously, you know, Mira's on the board, but this isn't really a point to take area, so they're going with a little bit more malleable information. And Legacy are going to start their clear up on this Ruins side towards Hookah Balk. And you can see they're set up and waiting for the run out, and a lot of bodies are going to go and try and charge this, but it seems like with Arth the only one covering the potential run out on the Aqua side, so Extreme just seems to be free to get very close in quarters with this.
Bomb located by attackers.
Yeah, he's going to be droning in through Hookah and see exactly what's going to go on here and what kind of setup they've got going. We've got Red Groove, who is going to be holding it all down with the smoke. Nades are going to go out to try and deal with him, but will be caught by the ADS, unfortunately. No good clearing coming out from Vegasy just yet, as they have lost a lot of utility of their own, and they're wasting a decent amount of time here as well. Impacts are going to go down, and no pre-fires coming out just yet to secure any kills. They're going to confirm the presence of a Maestro on Cool Vibes, but the first kill will go into the favor of Vegasy. VX takes down Vital, and this is a good entry frag. That's exactly what Vegasy needed.
Well, Ajax is holding onto the window, and Extreme finds Red Groove, the second in their favor, with secretly trying to do some work from underneath. It's just struggling to get the initial bodies here and there as Cyrad on the Cool Vibe stairs finding one, but the man is inside and somehow finds it on the side of 4. Walkero gets secretly in the meantime. Renewals is the hope here as he can pick the Maestro up, concerned about the refrag possibilities, sees a bit of rotation and the flashes are coming, and it's just going to potentially, yeah, is going to stick it out underneath as the Nomad is still holding tight on the top floor. The pings are coming on where the diffuser is being planted. They might be able to do something tricky through the floor, but hey, remember when I said they're not bringing any C4s? That's caused a problem.
Yeah, it definitely has, and now they're going to have to try and retake through Cool Vibes, and there goes one. Cyrad straight off the board, and it's going to be all down to Renewals to try and bring this in. He's going to try and push down Luggage and see what he can do here, but Diffuser still ticking away, still doing it to work, and Reynolds pushing through Luggage, knows there's someone in Aquarium, he's got the Aquarium default cam up, but no, he's going to get shut down, and Vegasy are going to be the ones who take round number 1. Quick note here as well that Vegasy have Arth, and Arth did actually play in Challenger League Season 8 under Overtime, so you know, there's a decent amount of comp experience on this roster.
It's the thing about EU. Is there's so many different leagues and so much talent spread across so much of it, you never really know. It becomes harder to predict how a team is going to act when it comes to it. In other regions, their kind of tier 2 scene isn't quite as developed as ours in EU, and then the tier 3 as well. If you think of the long list of teams that are in the national leagues, you know, like Existence is a great example of one that has been beating on the door of CL and hasn't been able to find their way through to what is historically the tier 2, but can still toe-to-toe with a lot of the comp scene, and that's the thing, there's so many players capable of that across the region. It's always trying hard to try and remember where they are because there's so many different national leagues as well.
That's true, that's true. There is a lot of competition in EU, and really you can take any tier 3 team and they can normally just at least put on a show for us here. So we'll see in round number 2, but already a little bit of a surprise up here.
Gonna see, obviously, if Chaos can find a little bit more, I guess, sturdiness in their hold, heading to the kitchen side and dropping themselves above and making sure they keep all of this vertical with the option for rotation. Now, previously, they were obviously trying to hold a little bit from underneath, but it didn't quite come to fruition. This one, CC4 is a little bit less important if you're trying that kind of vertical play because you're generally going to try and hold it with guns and gun skill. Great moves from Vegasy to obviously start to lock down and get the push, and yet again, you've got to see if Chaos can try and find a response for the energy Vegasy were bringing in the first round. Quick takes against the Hooker side to try and get control as Arthur's already opening up angles and swinging around. They know how they want to enter it, and it's completely from this western side and flat across as they already put pressure towards the point itself.
Yeah, Arthur's going to try and take control of Sunrise, and that he is going to do. And from here, should be able to take out this Maestro camera as long as he lines it up correctly. It's going to be Neox who takes down Secretly instantly. Again, the first entry going into the favor of Vegas, and we almost say always that that is where normally the round is going to swing.
Well, Red Groove is going to try and hold down on main lobby and going to actually swing out a little bit now as we can see someone heading towards the Lambo door side and trying to apply a little bit more concise pressure. Fido, in the meantime, has crept all the way in towards the battle against Hookah and does find the sledge on the far side. With another one dropping on the opposite, Arthur's suffered to the end of Cyrod, and now it's just a matter of collapsing back towards the point. With a minute 43, though, Legacy have a lot of time to try and formulate a plan B. However, they haven't really been stuttered by this. They didn't bring hard destruction, so there's not really any major changes in the lineup of soft destruction and intelligence they've got. Well, until Vido takes Walkero out, and that is now your Buck and your Sledge both gone. You've got to take this aggressively. Maestro gets the man that swings in wide, and Cyrod finds another body, and it is all down to VX. The opening frag in the very first round is, well, got a lot to do now.
Yeah, he's not looking too good here in a 1v4 situation. He's still got a minute left to work with. He does have one flashbang remaining as well. If he does choose to peek and push this lobby area, he's going to try and peek in. He's going to lit the hell up, but no, not taken down just yet. But as I say, that Chaos are going to take round number 2 with a Vital and taking down VX. And yeah, that's a much more confident Chaos that we saw just in the previous round.
Happy to push back into the pressure that started against them and losing the opening body and secretly, and from then they just kind of reclawed and reclaimed as much ground as possible, and that's one of the trademarks of this map. It becomes so fast and so aggressive, and it's just one of the things where it's always hard to kind of keep a beat on what your opponents are doing, and if you are a team who are confident in those kind of maneuvers, you can really pull apart an attack that just doesn't expect it. Hookah, we're going to head back to for the second time today, and I'm curious to see if Chaos change anything.
It'll definitely be interesting, but so far it looks like they're bringing pretty much the same lineup that they brought last time for a hookah lounge and billiards room defense, potentially being a little bit more aggressive this time, however, to try and shut down the early approach coming out from Vegasy. But we'll move now into round number 3, and as you said, we're going back to that billiards room defense, and honestly, like a pretty standard haul coming out from Chaos so far.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm curious to kind of see how they're able to at least keep a bit of a better control in the central section. Obviously, we saw the Nomad get into billiards pretty swiftly, and then able to find at least 2 kills in and amongst that. So for me, I'm curious to see how that kind of slipped through, because we've already seen what happens when an exceptional player can repeatedly slip through another player's team and defenses. We've seen it a couple of times actually through these qualifiers, but we saw it earlier today in the kind of heroics against BDS on Border from the hands of Sloppy. But you know, it's one of those things where the Pro League team, you expect them to be able to kind of realize where that's coming from and have the ability to add some kind of countenance against it, add some kind of balance against it, and then from then on, you would expect them to start shutting out what Vegasy are doing more and more. At the same time, expectations are a hard thing in Siege, and well, let's see if Chaos can live up to what I'm assuming is a lot of them.
Jones is going to be going heavy amounts now from Vegas. He's going to be secretly on the Legion from downstairs. He's going to pick up that entry kill onto Arv. Instantly does, however, get traded by the Book of Walkero. He should be able to move in and do a little bit of damage here below, since that Legion now off the board. But losing your entry, the Zofia like that, it's not a great start, but a lot of control now gained by Vegasy for it.
Well, I like the amount of soft destruction they're bringing. Obviously, this isn't massively a map where you really need hard destruction, especially when, you know, Hibana's off the board too. So you think of walls that are thermitable. There's maybe a little bit of an angle you can get with some width inside VIP in the corner room, and maybe if you're feeling really bold and brash, you hit quadruple wall against the bar point itself. But otherwise, you can generally roll this as soft destruction and aggressive, and it did work for them previously. Fido has pulled back a little bit to a semblance of safety, dug in against the back of the hallway and trying to get the wide swing against whoever shows up in the door, but this pressure is going to be kind of marred and mounted from both the window and the door, so you assume that it's only a matter of time before they start to suffer. Throwing the first smoke canister out, popping it to slow the roll as the frag goes over the top, but no catch just yet, and that is Sledge all out of pocket.
We're running out of time here, really, for Vegasy to try and make a move, but as I say that, Walkero making moves on his own, downstairs Red Groove will be eliminated. And now is the Jaeger off the board. So most of the roamers now off the board from Chaos, and that room is getting smaller and smaller by the second, but Reynolds is going to give them some breathing room as VX is eliminated by a wide peak, and Reynolds still holding down Aquarium as well, so still a lot of control here for Chaos.
Well, Vido is ready to smoke out the cool vibe stairs and slower push that did previously generally start to formulate around this side. However, Renewals, in the meantime, gets a second, and the man is creeping up down the corridor. Sledge has rotated round, but hesitates on the final stretch, and Syra just pops up with the gun he's already been exceptional with so far. Walkero finally starts to make a move. Found 2 bodies, but he's still 30 seconds off, and not enough gone on really underneath. There's only so much that popping this open is going to achieve, because there's still a diffuser, there's still a couple of bombs, and there's still at least 3 players of Chaos left on the board. Full health and with utility in pocket. Walkero's trying the upside down rappel, just going to swing in and go for some exit frags, but Chaos isn't even going to let him play pool.
Isn't it billiards?
I don't know. I don't play either.
Are those the same? I'm not sure. I don't play them either.
There's going to be one person,
Yeah.
at least one person in the chat that is a pro like billiards player.
Yeah.
And they're going to be,
Who we've offended
how
deeply
dare
now,
you?
yeah.
How dare you insinuate they're the same game? Blue Bar and Sunrise Bar as the next pick. With Mira on the board, sometimes you do actually see Penthouse swing back into rotation, but Chaos, they're just going to play without her.
Yeah, it is interesting to see a mirror come up on Coastline and to not see any teams take it. But I think Chaos, you know, that they're a tried and practice team, right? They're going to be practicing Coastline. We already know they do enjoy a bit of Coastline, and they probably just are just running their strats, and then they just don't even include a mirror at all. So why bring it? It does, you know, it depends on kind of team you are. Like a more adaptable team will definitely bring a mirror here, and we'll try something a little bit different. But Chaos don't really need to try anything different here. What they're doing is working. So.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say, like, it's the thing is, because she's so consistently banned, there's almost a balance of if she's off the table, teams still play as if she's banned, because they're, what once upon a time might have been A strategies with a mirror kind of fell down to be B strategies, assuming she would be taken off. And at this point, their new A strategy is a mirrorless play, and even though she's not on the board, like, why change what your A strategy is? Keep rolling what you're comfortable and most practiced on, most of all, and see if you can find some semblance of this in and amongst the play. I know earlier on we said a couple of things about the expectations on BDS and how they maybe kind of took that game a bit longer, but they've got a big set of games coming up in their playoffs. Chaos, they're 6th. They don't have any more work to do for the rest of the season. They have this to look forward to as their way of trying to get to a major, and we've already seen it across the rally quals and across, you know, other kind of qualification tournaments. They can get very, very close a lot of the time.
Yeah, no, they definitely can, and like Chaos are often known as a very, very dominant team online in online quals, so they're definitely going to be a force to reckon with in this side of the bracket themselves, and I think definitely fours as well are kind of the main things we're looking for, but also Vitality have done really well themselves, so lots of big teams in this side of the bracket here. But yeah, Chaos looking very, very good so far, and as you said, this is definitely a favorite map of theirs.
And so far they're kind of finding the aggression. Even when they lose the opening body, they've then been able to bounce back and aggressively against it. Vido is going to hold in from Sunrise Bar and make sure they can slow the roll of the man that's already just hopped in and swung around. He's low and he's fragging, but Vido is having none of that great game sense to read. Takes the drone and is just going to bury himself still in there. Looks for the firefight rather than the smoke canisters. Can't quite find the head, and there goes the smoke canister to just give himself a little bit of a breathing room there. VX, in the meantime, creeping around on the opposite side of the floor alongside Walkero, but VX is on a very low amount of health, and the angle being held across lobby in Lambo, well, it's a bit of a danger.
It is a bit of a danger. Chaos still have a lot of control here right now. Red Groove trying to play aggressively around the Maestro cam. Try and still hold on to that control upstairs. Walkero trying to push in through the kitchen. This is a critical area that you need to control if you want to attack Sunrise. And Vegas have already got that control. And he's going to smoke out Renaults as well. Absolutely beautiful shot coming out from Walkero on that flank watch. Looking really good for him right now to try and push the site. But from Cool Vibes, he's not going to check it. And the Maestro is going to eliminate him. Syra still holding it down. And Vegas are kind of all over the place right now.
Yeah,
oh.
VX manages to find Syred, and Arth finds another one, bringing it to just Red Groove versus the world at this point, and they're starting to collapse towards the plant positions. One swinging around the stairs and has the angle, and Vegasy bring it back to a 2-2. A couple of questionable movements made by both teams there. Kind of just threw themselves against the firing line of the others, and maybe it's just a bit of missed information or missed calls. Either way, we're back on level pegging.
This map is just pure aggression. It's not really that difficult to gain control early on, but it is, you know, just a pure peeking, just getting frags maps, and it's not really a map that you need a hard breach from. So the Habana ban probably hasn't affected too much here. Potentially, if you want to go for that kind of like VIP or like billiards wall clear, you can go for that with a Habana, but other than that, like, it doesn't really push anything too far against the attackers, and Vegasy don't really seem like the team that are even affected by that. And honestly, it just gives you a lot more flexibility on your attack when you're not having to play so utility heavy, and we're seeing like a Twitch, like a Sophia, like 4 entry operators at least now. So, and a double set of nades as well. Like, the double set of nades is very, very useful for coastline. There's also all of those like upstair places as well. The like drone holes and the vents above, they can throw the nades down, especially like over Cool Vibes, over Aquarium, and you can get really good nade kills out of those.
Well, you can see themselves setting up a little bit of a struggle with the drone there, and obviously we are heading back to the kitchen, which was a pretty convincing win previously for Chaos. Even though they got on the back foot very early on, the response of aggression just worked in their favor as it swung the rest of the round their way. Vegasy, in the meantime, they have a little bit of a response to make now. This is one of the questions of a team you often ask, is how do you second hit a point? Once you've attacked it once and it's not worked, what do you change? What do you read into about the defense you're going up against, and how do you find a way in? So far, they've generally been leading with frags and leading with aggression. As you said, aggression is rewarded on a map like this. You can very quickly find your way through a lot of defenders just from being a very good gunner. And Arth is trying to creep in with Walkero on the far side, and just trying to clear steadily across. They've actually did a similar take last time, but they'd kind of split themselves more upstairs. This time they want to take it on the ground floor, across the offices inside, and across the Sunrise Bar side, and from then on, I guess, see if they can open up some bodies.
The Twitch journey in is going to be aware of the vertical kill holes coming out from Chaos here. But Al should be able to just Zofia out all of this right now and see exactly what the situation is and what he can do to affect it. But secretly from the hatch he's going to find a freebie, and Arth is going to go down for it. That's the Zofia off the board, but he'd already used his utility there. So not a massive pick, but still a pick nonetheless, and is still affecting that Sunrise control that Vegasy have, but they're slowly losing control of now.
Oh! Well, the frag grenade somehow didn't get a kill there, but they almost get the kill on the man who threw it. Siren, in the meantime, drops Extreme, and that is another body down. They're gonna maybe set up, no, all out of air jabs. I was about to say maybe to try and hold the window, but they are going to be able to get the pickup. Or Kero, who's had some pretty good moments so far this game, needs to do, well, a lot of those in one swing as he rotates to try and get the diffuser back. But you could already see the bodies in Sunrise and in the central courtyard. They are going to have that area under lock and key. There is Red Groove finding the one body, and now it's just down to the Nomad and the, well, just the Nomad. Yet again, Chaos have looked better and better on this point, and this time they seems like they're careening towards their very first flawless round so far. VX has a lot to do in 30 seconds to do it in. The smoke canisters are still there, and there's 2 more to stop any entrance on Kitchen without suffering a lot of suffocation. The doors are still intact, and that's going to give everything away that you're running. There's a man behind the bar that you just don't see. I'm sorry, sir. You are not booked in this hotel.
It is a hotel, isn't it? Hmm? The whole coastline is like a hotel.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise, it would be weird to have a reception desk otherwise. It's a very fancy place.
It is, yeah, it's very nice. So, moving into round number 6. We'll see exactly how it is going to be going down. Vegasy had a couple of really good rounds, honestly. I think they've definitely put on a show for us here, but Chaos are just not messing around right now. But honestly, even if Vegasy don't win this round and they move through onto the defense, you could say they could be pretty content with a 4-2 scoreline. I think even though you might argue that coastlines can be pretty attacker-sided, I think with the Habana ban, it tends to swing favors just slightly into the favor of the defense because it makes that Billiards attack so much harder. So we'll have a look what goes down, but I'm more interested to see what Vegasy do when they move on to the defense.
Yeah, I think that's kind of where the question marks are going to lie. Because so far from their attack, they've been thriving in some good moments of aggression, unfortunately marred by miscommunication, mispushing, and over-rotating. It's successful sometimes, but it's not successful every time, and that's a big, big black mark to have on any attack that ends up falling and following to those same beats. In the meantime, Chaos, as we said, have generally been looking more and more confident per hold, and Hookah was their very first loss, and then they took it the second time, and let's see if they can bring that balance back for the third. Vegasy, as I said, they've got a lot of work to do here, because they've got to see if they can find a way to stop a Chaos that's, as we said, getting more and more confident. Holding the spawn peak and doesn't quite catch it.
That is disappointing for Reynolds there. Just a sliver, just a pixel away from getting a headshot there. But he's not going to be able to be rewarded with that just yet. Chaos still looking good, however, despite that. As we move into round number 6, and we'll see exactly what Vegasy want to do here to attack. Now, the first time they attacked here was actually quite good, but Reynolds is going to score the opening frag. And that's already your book off the board. That is a huge pick coming out right now.
Especially because Walkero has had a really good game so far in a couple of these rounds. Extreme, it's another one who's generally had a bit of a showing with a couple of bodies dropped, is able to start putting pressure onto this Hookah bout, as they've done so pretty succinctly previously. However, with Renewals running around underneath and looking for the frag on the door, if they can get the flank watch, that can really just open up everything that Vegasy is attempting at this point. And as I said, it seems like Chaos, they're adapting to their namesake and finding themselves more in a bit of electric environment. Arth, in the meantime, is currently uncontested, upside down, repelling against the Billiards window and waiting for the rotation into bar, trying to bait the big guns of the Maestro to swing round, but there's no need for him to. They have the man advantage, they have the time advantage, and, well,
not anymore.
that was a great grenade there to drop Vido.
Yeah, good grade coming out indeed, and Neox should be able to push through and just hold it down at this angle while the rest of his team comes through onto this Hookah deck and tries to do what they can to regain a little bit more of this control. Extreme is actually going to move all the way in. The Maestro speaking him out, and also the Legion from Cool Vibes, and secretly picks up a double kill out of it as Red Groove finds one more. It's all down to be done by the sledge of Neox to try and bring something in here, but this isn't looking too good.
I think for me, I'm just curious why the IQ opted to go for the mad dash there, and I think that's the thing that we've seen them suffer from a couple of times. Whether it's a bit of miscommunication or misinformation, either way, they seem to go for these mad rushes and mad charges, and it just doesn't really come together because, well, there's players of Chaos ready to try and take you apart limb by limb. 4-2 as we go to the turn of the half, and Chaos, as we said, well, they've woken up and they've found a bit of their pace.
I think the mad dash there in that situation is fine, because if you're kind of all stacked out outside of the Hookah deck, you can kind of like go in there and trade each other. Like the IQ is the entry in that situation, so I think it was fine. I think it was the fact that the Maestro didn't die as soon as he peeked that, and then you have secretly on the Cool Vibes stairs, he gets the double kill and kills both of those guys, and it's like the Maestro was kind of a distraction there when he fired. So yeah, a couple of very small mistakes, but I think that rush was still fine, and they needed that control to get the plant down. They had a little bit of aquarium control, but they had mostly on that window repel, and that was kind of the crucial part of that. But we'll switch things around now. A 4-2 expected scoreline here from Chaos, but we'll see them move onto the attack now. And we'll see how Vegasy want to hold this on the defense, opting to go to Kitchen first.
Gridlock for the first time today, and the Jackal shows that they really want to try and keep control of what could be an aggressive roam. Obviously, as we've already seen, they do have a bit of confidence around this coastline, Vegasy. They take it quite wide sometimes, and they find their footprints wherever they seem to, and I guess Red Groove's going to try and find them too. Bring in the Ella as well. I'm curious whether they're going to throw those Ella mines to try and get the Grismot early information, or find a way to kind of double hit. Get the stun, get the body, and then get yourself up on the frag board and up on the body count in general. And you're going to assume that Maestro on Arth is going to be playing the long service tunnel. You're going to assume a couple of different things. Is throwing a lot of utility on the second floor, so this is quite a top-heavy hold, but that can work for certain teams if it's not read in too well. Wondering if they're going to throw anything on the Sunrise side or just try and hand that over as real estate and say, well, we're going to force you and funnel you through a little bit of a tight side here. Red Groove, in the meantime, isn't even going to try and find a firefight from close. It's just going to pop the window and take advantage, maybe with some great pre-placed drones, but at this point, Vido is already applying that pressure from the shower side. They're not wasting time, Chaos. They want to get through this defense as quickly as possible and maybe attack them with a pace that a less experienced team might not be as used to.
Oh yeah, definitely. This is definitely a very, very quick take coming out already from Chaos and already taking Maestro Cam off the board. That is disappointing that Vegasy just let him do like that. And it's not a great start for Vegasy, I'll tell you that much.
Well, the Jaeger of War Caro is going to try and hold onto the main lobby side. Is worried about the windows above and also on the luggage, but it's just going to become a tighter and tighter space. There is the big gun trying to hold cover in the form of Maestro, but as we can hear the churning from all angles, the ground around the Jaeger is getting slimmer and slimmer. Maestro holding above. I mean, it's a curious decision, sure, but I guess they're trying to lock as much of this control down from theater as possible.
He's got the Bailiff as well, to be fair. Like, he can open up these shotgun angles from above, and the Elder's pretty powerful, and you generally do want to keep that upstairs control, but it's going to be Extreme who goes down to start with a great pick from Knowles on this upside down rappel, and Red Groove is going to begin to plant. Secretly picks up another one as well as the plant continues to go down right now, and the run out comes through from Welcaro. Does find Secretly. This isn't looking too good. Vegas, you've got a retake in a 3v4.
Well, hey. 4v2 now as they shift the balance closer. Maestro wants to attempt to jump at this point, but VX at least finds a body in the meantime with a wide run out. There's still two playing on the Lambo side, and with half the diffuser time left, they're going to have to try something pretty outstanding. From above, doesn't see the man who rotates out there and is going to pull off because he's realized he's out of time. Has to push down towards it, and VX is doing everything he can to at least get control of the point, but he's got the choice. He has to stick this. He's going to try and swing it, and he can't, and unfortunately it's now too little too late as the Maestro, the big lad himself, is just a bit too out of his depth.
That was so winnable as well for Vegasy, because if they just coordinated someone going for the counter defuse and then someone jumping out the window, I really feel like they could have had that, but unfortunately it wasn't meant to be, and as we move into round number 8, things are looking slimmer and slimmer for Vegasy with great starts to the attack rounds from Chaos, and overall a great play from them, honestly. Can we have a quick look at the scoreboard at all?
No.
No. Unfortunately.
Oh,
there we go. Thank you. So, Syred and Secretly both doing a lot of work here, and Secretly was definitely kind of the man of the hour on the defense, I think.
Yeah, I mean, the way it's been generally playing down is he's been dug in. He's been stuck and he's been able to try and find the holes from Syred, and I think what we need to kind of see now in terms of Vagasy's defense is, as he said, it lacked a bit of coordination and communication there. And I could be wrong about this, but the way it seemed to play on the side of Maestro there was Maestro pinged the body inside kitchen, went, there's someone there, I'm going to hit. They might have not even said, I'm going to hit Cool Vibe side and take them from behind, because in the meantime, his teammate had pushed through and got the kill. If at that point his teammate had either said, well, I'm going to get this kill, you hit Lambo, or whatever kind of balance there, and they didn't both charge the one man on the far side, Maestro would have been able to hit Lambo door in time and do a bit of run-out pressure with the LMG, which would have drawn attention, or could have headed back to jump out the window and cause some attention that way. And those are the little moments where that kind of team balance of communication and how they can make it work, those are what ends up unfortunately costing you.
Arthur really just doesn't like that wall, I guess, as he makes some bullet holes there to be able to peek through onto that bathroom drop. But we'll see how the rest of this does go through as Chaos start their second attack here in round number 8. And again, onto this Billiards. And, well, this is the first time that Vegas have actually done it, so. But they have brought a Vigil, which I think is quite interesting.
I guess they're going to try and keep some of this map alive and aggressive, and I guess we'll see if Extreme can make any work of that. And, well, Arth is actually the one to open up the frags, take care of Secretly, who is, You know, he's either been the opening death 3 times or the opening frag twice, and Naox is able to double that down against Vito. Syred finds the Vigil in the meantime and puts some pressure back towards the hands of the French team, and otherwise they're still just under 2 minutes and plenty of time for them to make something of this on either side. They have lost the buck and they have lost the gridlocks, but they still have roam control and flank control in Nomad, and they still have soft destruction, albeit slightly less, in Syred. So there, again, it's the thing about this map is, with the way teams like to bring their setups, you know, it allows them a lot more kind of semblance of who's fragging. Red Groove may have heard that in offices, might catch a frag here on the door, will have seen that, and Naox was completely taken back by the man creeping through the blue bar, and now it's just a matter of trying to find a collapse from Aqua. They're set up above, the Nomad goes off above as well, and he can't quite find the follow-up. Great idea, but the wide swing on Cool Vibes is the constant fear here.
Alright, we're still going to go for these wall bangs from below and see if he can find a pick, but takes out Syred, and this is looking awful for Chaos right now as we move into the last minute. Their utility is looking bitty squiffy. As Red Groove and Reynolds are going to try and recover the round. Reynolds finds a great kill onto Arth. Oh my god. And does push through all the way into luggage. And now they have that coordinated control. Now they brought into a 2v2. There is still a smoke up on the board, however. And that time is ticking down quite hard.
Well, he's trying to creep up, but the Maestro cam is surely going to feed any of that information back. You can see it lit up. They'll be well aware that he's pushing, and the pings are there too. They're going to wide swing aggressively against it, but with the pressure coming from the back, they've got to decide what they're going to pay attention to. The man has found his way in through the smoke, pre-fires in and amongst it, but can't find the body in Vegasy. Locked down the second kill with VX getting the pair 5-3. And the favor slips back to the French team after 3 rounds in a row. Can they, for the first time, get more than 1 in a row of their own?
Coordinated coming out from Chaos there at the end, but just a complete lack of utility towards the end there. Not able to do with that shield, not able to do with the Maestro cam, and they just couldn't fight around that at all. And that's, I think, really what it came down to mostly. I was also kind of surprised that we had the smoke playing into Hookah. And we had the Jaeger playing behind the billiards bar. It's normally the other way around, but...
Yeah, the smoke was trying some smoke canisters from deep, and, I mean, they pushed through them, but they didn't really have a choice. But I guess that was kind of down to, well, the time that was left on the board. Walcaro bringing the Clash, the 6th pick from the Alibi to the Clash again. We talked about 6th picks and how it can kind of be bait and play styles, and that is 2 very opposing versions. Clash, whenever she's involved in the 6th pick, is always usually swapped to someone that could be an aggressive roam or someone that could be early information on windows that you generally have to close down. Assume Walcaro is going to be doubled up with an operator. Usually you like to see it done with someone like, I know, Pulse, or someone with something that can quick fire around the shoulder, like maybe Jaeger, but I guess we'll see where they decide to lead them as we go to the blue bar for the first time on this defense side.
So, Blue Bar Sunrise Bar is kind of an interesting defense. It's pretty hard to maintain control of that upstairs area. Chaos did manage to do it a decent amount during their defenses. Let's see how Vegasy do it on theirs. Interestingly, we've brought a Clash. We saw a little bit of Clash during the BDS game. Wasn't really that effective, but I think she can be good. She gives that kind of like active intel, and she can also just be really annoying as well. But we've got a lot of counters here from Chaos. We do have the Nomad, we do have the nades coming out from the book, and we just also have Gridlocks and Sophia's.
Well, the collapse starts to come and the drones go in from the Nomad, and there is the pickup from Renewals, baited by the drone into the gun of the F2, or the bullets of the F2 even, and it is just an exceptional combination. Here is the Clash, a little bit alone and a bit of injured, as it flashes over her legs, and it looks like Twitch is going to keep the pressure on. Still has the shock drone in pocket and can really just, again, cause more problems for a Clash. Naox is still above, holding it down so far, with Vito pushing against the battle on the luggages side, or the computer side, with Arth waiting against the door as well of Lambo, and not even on Lambo, on the Aqua side, and Extreme in the meantime creeps around and shuts down Vito.
Yeah, it's going to be a 4v4 situation right now. Chaos aren't actually looking that amazing, but they do have the kitchen control. They are running out a lot of utility right now as the Twitch drone tries to spam it down the clash, but secretly from the other side, from lobby control, he's going to take down one. It takes down two as well. There goes the clash. Well, Kero off the board, and now it's a 2v4. So Chaos looking much, much better now, and they should be able to gain a decent amount of that control. It looks like Secretly's not too happy about the flank situation, so he's going to put down some more track stingers. As Vegasy still hold on for dear life, but they are outnumbered 2-1 right now.
Well, it's all gone a little bit silent, and you got to think that they have plenty of time in their belt here, Chaos, setting themselves up to collapse against the side of the Nomad, and now it's just a matter of making sure they don't throw themselves into the firing lines of Vegasy, because we've already seen what Arth can do on this gun, and there's still smokes to contest with as well. Still above, and the hot pings are baiting, and there's the ankles, but Nomad heads in and starts planting. The zaps are coming, but they're gonna be able to get the diffuser down. In fact, they just don't even throw it. They drop the camera. Renewals finds Naox. They know where Maestro is, and, well, Chaos pretty cleanly put themselves on map point.
Very well played by Chaos indeed to take round number 9. As you said, they put themselves on map points. So I think this is kind of going the way we did expect. Chaos just absolutely dominating during their attacks. They're just one more attack away from bringing this into a 7-3. What is going wrong for Vegasy here, do you think?
It's a hard one to pin down, if I'm honest, because what it is for me, it's the systematic shutdown that Chaos is achieving. It comes with practice, it comes with time, and it comes with being a squad for a very long period of time, but it never really seems like Chaos are too stressed by how the game seems to be going. Every single thing seems to be more metered and balanced. At the same time, when we've seen Vegasy in similar situations, they occasionally had a habit of making a couple of mistakes, charging forward and moving across sight lines that hadn't been completely locked down, and I think those are the little mistakes that can cost lives against a team like Chaos. Because Pro League teams and Tier 1 teams are built around the idea of mainly being able to take advantage of the little mistakes of the opponents. They see when a fault happens, they pull the thread, and they ruin the entire jumper, and that is what their kind of crux is, and they're so good at doing it that it's just kind of more obvious against a team like Vegasy when they do these rotates and, oh, there's Renewals ready to pick it up. When they do wide swing and, oh, you know, there's Vido with the cover, and it, you know, it's those mistakes that otherwise might get overlooked by teams that aren't quite on the level that Chaos can be at. This is them on full display for me.
Well, Chaos definitely a tier 1 team today. They've not had some great results in Pro League, but against Vegasy, they're definitely bringing it all to bear. We'll see how things continue to go down as Chaos 1 round away from bringing in the map. We'll see them begin their attack up onto Kitchen now. Last time this was actually pretty good for Vegasy. They actually maintained quite a lot of control, and Chaos were just really unable to break this apart. This is, I don't know, because, like, this upstairs control was just going so well for Vegas until the very end, but it's going to be Volcaro who does pick up the first kill of the round, and that run out does manage to get a kill out of it. The Nomad Edger finds him, but he's going to get away with it. What? Gridlocks went down, there's an air jump there, we've got people outside the front door, and somehow Volcaro walks away with murder.
I think it might be because I complimented how well they are good at taking advantage of mistakes, and then they just forget to after I complimented them on it. Well, Vido is looking to get control of top floor, going to frag grenade and bounce one round, but the angle's being held quite long there from the Maestro, and so they can't really get as free downstairs as they could. In the meantime, Renewals starts the bat and balance back towards their favor as they bring it back to a 4-4. Well, Carolo, obviously quite low health, and Twitch drone is otherwise just going to, well, drone ahead and see if they can get an idea. The ADS and the long angle is being burnt as they're going to try and frag grenade the Maestro out. Sledge uses the opportunity and interest in the other doorway to sneakily find his way inside. If this goes uncontested, this could be very, very big. The frag grenade is cooked and it gets the man. Arth suffers a fate inside. VX is rotated round and there's another Nomad charge, but Vido gets Arth. In the meantime, they now have eyes on Hall of Fame. The diffuser diffuser is cold outside and swings round, suffers half health from just a flick of damage, and Vido is going to try and close down on the kill. Swings round to a better angle, a smart move and a smart play. If it's not read into, this could be the end, and it has been read into by the Ella, who swings out the door herself. Ring around the rosies has never been so violent. Vido and VX both on flickers of health now.
Yeah, VX still trying to play from above through the vertical play that was opened up by the nade, but the person who used that nade, Vitalin, is going to take him off the board, and now it is going to be a 3v2. This is looking beautiful for Chaos now to try and bring this in. Neok still holding down, is going to see someone jump in the kitchen window, and it's going to be Reynolds, he'll find him. Vitalin goes down as well, and this is looking all squiffy now for Chaos all of a sudden. It's all down to SAPPHIRE to try and bring this in to a win for Chaos.
Well, the Maestro Cam has all the pings in the world. And at this point, with all the information, this really should be, and it is, Vegas' round. 5-6. They pull themselves back to within 1 round of being able to take it. They have a couple of points in possibility that they can go to. It is just down to Chaos to be able to lock it out on this map. Now, this map was Vegas' pick, but it's also one that Chaos is good at. So if it's par for the course of how we're going to potentially see our next map, who knows how this series can start to swing. Either way, we're going to head back up to Hookah, which was a win for Vegas previously here, and they also took it once on their attack rounds as well.
Yes, it's been no means a complete rollover or anything like that from Chaos, but Vegas really need to step their game up if they want to bring this into overtime. They may be hoping that they can bring the next 2 maps in, the Villa and Clubhouse, because Coastline, again, just famously just one of Chaos's just best maps overall. They may just be playing off of that and saying, okay, Coastline, you know, we can win or lose this, it doesn't really matter. We can take the rest of the series. Maybe Vegas is banking on that. We'll have a look at what they want to do as we move further into the series. But talking about this map so far, we're going to go back to a billiards room defense. We'll have a look what Chaos want to do here on their attack. Bringing, again, kind of the same lineup here. And again, not too surprised to see the Twitch in this lineup.
10 seconds left.
Yeah, I mean, the Twitch has been a very big part of it, both as a fragger and being able to deal with the Maestro cams that have otherwise been pretty consistent in, well, either spotting the information or dropping the bodies. They obviously also have SAPPHIRE and they have frag grenades, but they're not really using them for the Maestros. And it's a couple of times now we've seen those late round Maestro cams feed a lot of information back to the defenders of Vegasy to be able to then make quick use of whatever push seems to be coming. Vido gonna try a grenade from deep there, bounces off the corner but doesn't find anyone hiding in Aqua, and well, it was an attempt, sure, but unfortunately not a great one as Renouls creeps in on one side with Secretly in Red Groove, just droning ahead and making sure that they've got some clarity across the Lambo door. There is one body playing in by themselves on that entire half of the map on both the first and the second story. The second frag goes off and doesn't bite anyone there, and the man with the shotgun is just going to try and hold the angle. Now, they've baited it with drones previously, and well, Neox may suffer it again. In the meantime, Arth suffers Secretly, and that is a big gun, a big player to take out of the equation on this match point.
Neox still holding down very well himself as Vitalin is looking for an early frag here. Lots of drones going to be coming out across the board from Sunrise areas. Secretly trying to make his work through into security, but Neox still holding down with the shotgun. Very, very powerful angles be held as well by Walkero from above. So things looking still pretty good for Vegasy here, even though they are in a 5v4. They got lots of utility. There is lots of time for Chaos to start to do something. They are going to start to move this Mute out of position. Neox not looking too good here to try and go for something. He's going to go for the peak, but Secretly is going to take him down insanely quickly. And he's going to be expecting a drop down from luggage. It's never going to come.
Yeah, they otherwise now have control of the rest of the map. Vido has control of Walkero's life as well. They just need to make their final collapse. They have a minute on the board. They have most of the map, and they also have Extreme of 5 versus 1. Well, VX would have to do something unbelievable to swing this in the favor, but consistently all angles covered. Chaos end this first map with a flawless round, and that is the end of our coastline.
Good halves coming out in the chat, and Chaos with an expected victory there of 7-4 are going to take the first map away in this series. We're going to be heading to Villa in just a few moments, but what do you think of that matchup?
Well, we'll discuss it after the break and these adverts.
My God, that is absolutely stunning! They are the champions!
Probably certain that they'll win the rest of the game as well. Maybe if they buy games, I think that they should just go for it.
Predict the outcome, win the game. Get live coverage and schedules for your favorite tournaments. Analyze, predict, and vote to gain points. Compete with other esports fans and climb the leaderboards. Strafe, everything esports. Download now on iOS and Android.